Alright, so back to this again. Tonight we're going to be playing Affinity, which is the premier artifact aggro deck of Modern. It's been around pretty much since the formation of the format. It tries to exploit the synergies between the various artifacts and exploit fast mana in Springleaf Drum and Ox Moful. You play a lot of 0-drop mopey creatures to enable turning on Mox Opal quickly. You play a Welding Jar to protect some of your artifacts. Signal Pest with its battle cry can boost your team. Vault Scourge often is played as a 1-drop because of Phyrexian mana. Arcbound Ravager, Etch Champion, Master of Ethereum, Steel Overseer, and Cranial Plating are your payoffs. We'll get into that more as we play the deck here. So, alright, what does this hand do? Let's see. Hand seems pretty good. Go ahead and keep it. Don't have an immediate payoff, but we do have a pretty fast start, so I guess we lead on Nexus, play out, play out Signal Pest, play out Memnite, play out Opal. Does our opponent kill one of our guys in response? They do not. Play out another Signal Pest, pass. Pretty good Affinity hand, although we do kind of need a payoff. So, let's see what our opponent is playing here. Infect, perhaps? Breeding Pool could be Infect, could be 5-color Bring the Light Kiki that's been popping up a little bit here and there. So, guess we'll see. Fortunately, we do have an interactive spell in Gal Blast. So, see how our opponent plays this here. Yep, looks like they are in fact Infect. So if their only creature is Blighted Agent, we can probably race them here. Sure. So that means we get to tempo them and deal them damage. Cast Welding Jar, although it's not particularly relevant in this spot. Kill Blighted Agent. Go ahead and attack with everything here. I think it's more important to just chip in with everything. Deal as much damage as possible this turn. Play out Vault Scourge. And hope we draw like Cranial Plating or something next turn. See if our opponent has like another Infector here or something. Yeah, Dryad Arbor, sure. Dryad Arbor will keep Memnite from attacking. Is there any reason to even play that out right now? Go ahead and do that. Play, activate Inkmoth. So we're attacking with everything but Memnite here, pretty much. No reason to trade off Memnite right now. Pass to our opponent. So Infect has started to come back quite a bit in the format. Now that people... Is this a Dismember? Okay, interesting. It's probably not what I would have gone after here, but whatever. would you go after the Infector? Oh, whatever. And concede. Alright, so with them, Bitter Blossom was probably pretty good. Some consideration to bringing in Etched Champions, but I think the Ether Grids are pretty decent. Maybe the Dispatch, Thoughtseize, and potentially the Spell Pierces. What cards do we not want? Master of Ethereum out, Etched Champion in, although, to be fair, we're only going to be blocking one creature with that, so I don't know how Welding Jar can go out. Other cards do we cut in this matchup? So definitely want Bitter Blossom. Dispatch probably. Thoughtseize on the draw is a little more suspect. So throw out the Thoughtseize. Question is, what else am I cutting? Maybe like an Overseer or two? Since they are a little bit mopey. Try like that. It's obviously they can have things like, yeah. So this hand is risky, just because we don't have mana. So Ornithopter, Volt Scourge on one. I think we keep this hand, but the Glimmer Void really is a little bit suspect. Little Hierarch, sure. Alright, Spire of Industry. Play out Ornithopter. Am I just supposed to kill this? Am I supposed to kill the Noble Hierarch or their Infector? I think bolting the bird's probably correct here. Okay, Ravager is a card. Question is, am I supposed to play Ravager here, or am I supposed to play... I guess it's just Ravager, right? Opponent could easily have something like Viridian Corruptor. So, no guarantee we're out of the woods yet, but especially if they go like removal spell into, which looks like what they might be doing. If they do that, we'll lose a land, which could be ugly. Don't even tell me you've got 2 artifact removal spells. Okay, looks like the answer is no. Do I like to use Ravager's ability? Yes. If this is Viridian Corruptor, we're really going to be punished? Of course it is. See, this is why I hate this card in particular. Okay, Darksteel Citadel is a card. Play out Volt Scourge. Then next turn, If we draw another land or an opal, perhaps we could play out. Okay, Hierarch's annoying. Really kind of hoping. Do I block here? Probably not. I did. Possible I'm dead here to 2 pump spells. Land, please. Okay, cool. So 1, 2, 3. That's champion. Slow your beatdowns. I think I need to start my Volt Scourge-ish beatdowns. Opponent. Feliz Navidad. We're going to attack. Oop. Alright, so it appears they don't have any tricks up their sleeve. Alright, blink them off. Attack with Volt Scourge. Very slow clock, obviously, but... Okay, pay this. Play out that. Do you have like a Spell Pierce or something here? Nope. Alright. Pass to our opponent. Okay, forest. It's an awful nice forest. Okay. Are we dead? Okay. And I think this means we're dead. Yep, dead to exact seize. Gotta love an effect. Doo-doo. Alright, Spell Pierce didn't seem too good there, even if we would have had it. And obviously they're bringing in, or have already uncapped Corruptors in the main deck. So I think this deck as is fine. Try like this. Some consideration to bring in Thoughtseize, some consideration to bring in Ancient Grudge, etc. But possibly even Rule of Law. And seems fine. Alright, do this, play out this, play out this. Am I supposed to get Ravager down here, or am I supposed to get Signal Pest down here? I think just Ravager. Pass to our opponent. I think I'd much rather have 4 Spire of Industry than something like kind of nonsense do you have here? Noble Hierarch. Alright, so guess we play out the rest of our hand. think this hand's fine against removal, but I think against Infect this hand isn't particularly good. So, pass to our opponent. Inkmoth Nexus is annoying. Another Ravager. Go ahead and play out the Ravager. See if our opponent attempts to block here, or are we just dead on 3. Alright. Is it Dismember? Nature's Claim? Nope. Activating that, sure. Getting for 5 here. Pass to our opponent and hope we're not dead. Okay. I don't think we're dead here, but this front can certainly do a good bit of damage. I mean, interesting. Wonder what they've got then. Okay. You just seriously have the kill on 3? Alright. Perhaps I should have left something back to block. Gotta love Infect. Got to love Infect. I was actually kind of thankful when it was out of the format. Not exactly my favorite deck to play against. Me, at least you die quickly. You're not sitting there for 25-30 minutes waiting for Lantern to kill you. But, possible I should have left one of the Ornithopters back, but I mean, the longer you wait for them, the longer they can create a hand to get around your blockers, and I didn't have any interaction in hand, so not sure what the right line to take there would have been. I don't think Rule of Law is correct to bring in against them, but what does this hand do? Springleaf Drum. I think we keep this hand. So Ornithopter, Springleaf Drum. Yeah. Would really like to draw another mana source pretty quick, but play that out. Play Ornithopter. And pass. So next turn we can get out Ravager. We draw a land, get a Master of Therium in play. If okay, so Swamp. Yeah, I think we just go ahead and blast them to the face. Probably take Ravager here. Hope we brick on a mana source. And Ravager does make most of their removal better. Or worse. Signal Pest. Not really the best draw here. Okay. Double Inquisition, very annoying. Maybe we'll get a better idea. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Grim is going to be very annoying. We actually playing against straight up Jund? Ugh. Well, this is getting quite ugly quite quickly. It looks like, yeah, we're playing up against straight up Jund. Yep, especially with that. Yeah, land is not really what we were looking for here. It's like we turned the clock back a few years with this standard league. Not modern. Modern league. Alright, cranial plating is a thing, I guess. Possible our opponent just gets to kill both of our creatures here, so I don't know how much this is actually going to do. Sure. Kolaghan's command on top of everything else? Oh yeah. Pass to our opponent, see what they've got. Tarmogoyf, okay. Bolt Scourge. Play out Bolt Scourge. Activate Inkmoth Nexus. Attach it to Signal Pest. Their opponent kill here. Alright, so we'll get in for 2 more poison. Maybe. So, really would like to find some way to kill this stupid Lavamancer. Of course, it's Jund. They could just have 1 billion. Alright. Okay. Guess that's just to get a sorcerer in the graveyard. Spring Life Drum does not really do anything here. So you have Kolaghan's Command on top of everything else. Yep, we're done playing Magic here. Alright, well, playing Affinity seemed like a good idea. These out of here, get those in here, get the Bitter Blossom in here, and what other cards are we interested in? Probably interested in the Dispatch, Cut, maybe like an Overseer and a Gallblast. Try it like that. Because Jund just feels like an awful matchup. Yeah, we're keeping this hand. Can empty most of it. Do that. Do that. Do that. And pass. I'll probably have a discard spell on one because they always do. Okay, or they don't. Play out Ornithopter. Play out Ravager. Force them to react. You have a Boulder Push, you have to use it now. Probably kill Signal Pest. Nope, okay. Maybe they kept a bit of a clinker. So yeah. Am I supposed to put this on the Ornithopter, I guess? Get in for 2 here. Another mana source, please. Yep. Actually, let's just go ahead and move to combat. Force our opponent to blow the removal spell. Alright. Signal Pest. Taking some unnecessary damages. Play out Etch Champion. Okay. Double Fatal Push? Or Terminate and you forgot to... Yep, Terminate and you forgot to... Alright, why would you go after Ornithopter here? Whatever. Ornithopter does not seem like the card that I would want to go after here. I think Signal Pest would be. This is probably one of the matchups Jun would want to play like almost every round. But our opponent's... Like, Lightning Bolt on Ravager seemed correct, but the... Are they copping up a Shatterstorm? Or what's going on here? Kolaghan's Command on what? Alright. Okay, we draw an Ornithopter, which is fine. Go ahead and fire this up, get in for 5 here. Continue to poke our opponent. I guess only get in for 4. Okay, Raging Ravine. Alright, another Ink Moth. So do I fire up Blink Moth or just keep trucking in for 3 here? I think I just keep trucking in for 3. Okay. So they have another Ancient Grudge flashback potentially. Oh, it did not flashback Grudge. Important to note. Okay, Scavenging Ooze. Which is annoying because there's a lot of creature cards in the graveyard. So Welding Jar. It's going to terminate the Ornithopter. Does this jeopardize my... Yeah, as much as I want to get in with Ink Moth, that just jeopardizes my ability to protect Etch Champion, so... Opponent's now going to have to take some time to gain some life. Sure. Come to Scavenging Ooze. Sure. Cranial plating. I think cranial plating. I believe this might be lethal. Doop-a-doo. Go ahead and equip that. Still equips. See if you have another removal spell. You probably do, but, you know. Nope, guess you don't. Whew. Alright. So, is there any other changes? There's some consideration for Spell Pierce, considering how much interaction our opponent's bringing to the table. Spell Pierce and Thoughtseize don't seem like that's the battle we want to be fighting. So, I guess we'll try it and see what happens. I mean, our opponent had approximately 1 billion removal spells that game, and we still managed to kill them, but... Alright, so what does this hand do? So we've got this on turn 1. Yeah, we'll keep it. I mean, we can't guarantee anything in this hand survives past... Okay, so they're not... Apparently they boarded out either almost all or most of their discards, so... Important to note. Play out Welding Jar. Play out Memnite. Play out this. Play out Signal Pest. And pass. Alright, so... we want to play this. Play out Ravager. Force them to react to Ravager. Play out Bolt Scourge. Okay. So what are you going to go after, opponent? Apparently nothing. Is that timing to try to throw off my combat there? I hate people that do that at the beginning of combat. It's like... so aggravating. Anger of the Gods, huh? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Guess we go all in on Ravager. Sack that. Sack this. Sack this. Cranial plating. Four, 5, or to activate this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See what our opponent has here. Anna of the Veil. Very annoying. Very, 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 very annoying. Alright, they get rid of Goblin or Rabble Master. Okay, Scavenging Ooze, sure. You may as well play the card out, not like I'm... They've got another removal spell, they've got another removal spell. There's not really much I can do about it. Tell me you have Kolaghan's Command on top of this. Looks like the answer is no, you have Ancient Grudge. No, Kolaghan's Command. Yep, Jun doing Jun things, circa 2009. So how's everyone doing this evening? I feel like I'm having flashbacks to 2009 through 2014. Infect and Jund. Well. Maybe there was a different line I could have taken with that Ravager, but I don't know. Liliana was going to be tough to beat there. Probably the funny part is anything other than Liliana there, I think we were okay. Yep, Jund doing Jund things. So, I'm trying to think how I should have boarded in that matchup. Is there any consideration for bringing in Spell Pierces or Thought Seizes? I just don't feel like bringing these in against Jund gets you anywhere. Any thoughts, anyone? Spell Pierce, Thought Seize. Doesn't seem like where you wanted to be. To be honest, we got a little lucky to win game 2, so even that was a bit of a gift. Alright, back to reality. Guess I'd like to play first. So what does this hand do? Do. This hand is close, but I think we can do better. I lied, we can't. I'll keep this hand because, you know. Do we want a second Signal Pest? I think the answer to that is no. Possible the first hand was just better? Question mark? Had the possibility. Oh dear. Tron. Hard to say exactly which version of Tron, so. Should have played. Small mistake here, but I should have played Blink Moth instead of. And we're going to get. Yep, this would be Eldrazi Tron. And we have a garbage hand against them. Wonderful. Walking Ballista Boot. Chihuahua. Seriously? Sure. I think we're forced to do this now because if our opponent untaps with 4th mana, then they can really decimate our board. Just, yeah. Just kind of frustrating a little bit that our opponent has, by Eldrazi Tron standards, has a garbage draw, but it happened to line up like pretty good against ours. So back with Matter Shaper, and then our Ghost Quarters hold our Ink Moth next eye in check. Yep, Thought Knot's here, get no targets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think this game's pretty academic. So it's important to note our 7-card hand would have been, all right, well, I mean, maybe? Does this give us a chance? Master of Ethereum even give us a chance here? Maybe? Oddly enough, drawing all of our Darksteel Citadels may have saved us a little bit here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The opponent got an Endbringer here. Oh, Chihuahua. Seriously? Hmm. Now, to be fair there, I did have a little punt where I should have activated Nexus, blocked Matter Reshaper, pumped it, traded, would have bought me another turn. Oh. Sometimes it's just not your night. That was too much. Sometimes it's just not your. Oh, that was very appropriate. Oh, shoot. Alright, so what am I realistically bringing in? Thoughtseize, Dispatch. Ancient Grudges? Is there some consideration for those? What am I boarding out? Walting Jar doesn't seem like it does a ton in this matchup. Well, I guess there's some consideration for it. Alright, go ahead and board out a couple Gal Blasts. They don't kill a ton in this matchup. It's possible I should only be bringing in one Ancient Grudge. Sorry, I'm just laughing that the card that arguably against Affinity should be the most blank just blew us out. Alright, so what does this hand do? Memnite on 1, Overseer on 2. Hope to draw a colored source on 3. Sure, we'll keep it. Now, to be fair, our opponent did mulligan to, what, 5? But to be fair, their 5-card hand lined up pretty good against us. Oh. I'm not usually one for bad beat stories. I mean, I understand it happens. But it's just like, how bad can your night go that even your Eldrazi-tron opponent mulligans to 5 and has like the perfect cards against your start? Alright, yep. Alright, we really need a colored source, and our opponent not to have Dismember for once. Or Walking Ballista. Yeah, go ahead and get in for 1. That'll make a... Alright, let's see what our opponent leads on here. Oh, seriously? Oh... Well, I mean, to be fair, our opponent is stuck on 1 land, so there is a chance. There is a chance. Or they're just slow rolling us because they feel bad. I'm not sure which. uh, hmm. So I'm going to start beating down with my 1 mana 2/2. Oh dear. Alright, play out Signal Pest here. Alright. So I need colored mana and yuck. Yuck, 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 yuck. I guess we could theoretically induce my opponent to... I don't even know. Please don't be Walking Ballista. Why is it always Walking Ballista? Yep. Alright. So... guess we fire and Blink Moth. Fire up Blink Moth. Continue pressuring our opponent as we can. Chances of this beat down getting there are very low. Oh, jeez. Seriously? Oh, wow. Well, I mean, that'll at least force the issue. Blue, blue, that. Master of Ethereum. Wow, they let it resolve. And I just punted here. I just missed 2 points of damage, which might end up being relevant. Thunk Nut. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, probably takes the other master here. Alright. Alright, what does Glimmer Void enable? So, 1, 2, activate. Activate. I'm just supposed to Galv Blast this Thought Knot. 6/8. Your opponent knows we have Galv Blast, so do. Put into 2, 4, 6, 2, 4. They go to 4. I think we have to risk it for a biscuit. Should have done this to begin with, but kind of hoping our opponent would block incorrectly. Alright. Opponent just scooped. Alright, now on to sideboarding again. Does Pithing Needle change anything? These grudges, man. S Champions doesn't do anything. Ether Grid doesn't do anything. Rule of Law does nothing. Cage does nothing. Galv Blast is moderately relevant. The one of Thoughtseize is moderately relevant. It's possible I'm only supposed to have 1 grudge or 2 in. So Walking Ballista they can sack in response. Hangerback Walker, if they're bringing that in, is a nightmare anyway. Basilisk Collar, Pithing Needle. I suppose that's enough reason to leave in grudges. I don't know. Is it supposed to be 1 grudge or 2? I don't really... Not 100% sure on this one. I'll go ahead and keep it as is. Alright, so what does this hand do? So we've got that. I guess we go ahead and keep this. Not the best hand in the world, but it's decent. Chalice of the Void. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Signal pass go. Sure. Alright, I mean, we at least get to play spells, sort of. Here comes Thought Knot. Yeah, obviously I'm not blocking Matter Reshaper here. I'm at a loss for words right now. Uh, I yeah. I'll be back in a minute or two. Need to go clear my head after this. Be right back. All right. Let's get back to the punishment. I'm not sure. So that Chalice on Zero was just disheartening, backbreaking. I mean, we've been able to win one game each match, but it's just been like I'm trying to think if there's been any misplays, any keeps that I shouldn't have kept. Um, the only misplays I've thought about, well, I should have activated a couple different times. I could have activated Ink Moth or Blink Moth Nexus. Like one time where I could potentially have blocked Matter Reshaper and survive for a turn, and then I could have activated Blink Moth that one turn phase that they allowed uh, whatchamacallit to resolve, Master of Ethereum to resolve before doing anything. So, other than that, I don't think the losses have been a result of misplays, but I'm far from an Affinity expert, so. Excuse me. Alright. I think this hand's a keep. So. Especially if we draw. Not the fastest Affinity hand in the world, but if we hit a third land, it's pretty reasonable. Ugh! I really don't like seeing Creeping Tar Pit. Alright, so. Play this out. Play this out. Play this out. Creeping Tar Pit usually means bad things for us. Shock. Alright. Okay. Mm. So which spell do I care about least here? Because shocking with Watery Grave either means you have Spell Snare, or you're just going to cycle this Nihil Spellbomb. If it's Spell Snare, I think I'm just going to run this Steel Overseer into it. Yep. Which is fine. Ish. I mean, if it resolves, we're in great shape. If it doesn't, then we're kind of in... I don't know. They're getting a spell either way, so... Yeah, I guess Gal Blast would be a consideration. Gonna say, I don't think you're cycling a Nihil Spellbomb by shocking yourself there, so... So far, we've only seen blue-black. Does this mean they're fairies? Question mark. The Legacy 66. So, trying to think of our matchups, if it would have been any better in... Alright. Collective Brutality. And... Okay. Well, I mean, they're getting a Gal Blast, which kind of sucks. Oh, they did 3 modes. Interesting. Land, please. Another Gal Blast. I think I'm just supposed to pluck in for 2 here. So they're Esper Control. Looks like they're digging for some help here. Am I just supposed to Gal Blast them here? Looks like that answer is no. Go ahead and hit you with a Gal Blast. Okay. All right. All right, finally got one of the game ones. So our opponent is Esper Control. Not really sure which version, but presuming the Etch Champions, we want the Ether Grids. We can presume they're bringing in Stony Silence. So, how many answers to Stony Silence do I want? Probably want a Thoughtseize. A couple Spell Pierces might be reasonable. What would I cut for all this? Probably cut a couple Gal Blasts, a couple Steel Overseers, and maybe we're supposed to bring in the Bitter Blossom in this matchup. Question is, what else am I cutting then? Is it just supposed to be the Overseers? It feels like they're the worst of our payoffs. How does our curve look? The fact that they discarded that Path to Exile may actually have been a mistake. What does this hand do? Guess we keep it on the draw. On the play, I don't know if I keep this hand. So they're probably either mulliganing for Stony Silence or some type of sweeper. So. Okay, does Opal improve this hand? I'd say it does. Unfortunately, I can't cast any other spells this turn. Nope. I mean, if our opponent has Stony Silence, they have Stony Silence. There's nothing we can do with this hand. Okay, it doesn't look like that's going to be a particular problem. Alright. So... the Signal Pest gets countered. There's... okay. Play out a Springleaf Drum. Play out a Volt Scourge. See if this gets countered. This could get hit by a Spell Snare. I mean, obviously our opponent was thinking on that one. Okay, Thought Scour. Stony Silence. Collective Brutality. Okay. Signal Pest. So I'm presuming you're leaving up Spell Snare here. But, I mean, there's nothing I can do about this. So, play out Cranial Plating and Pray. Ceremonious Rejection. Okay, so it didn't matter what we were playing there. You were getting a called. Now if they have like a Snapcaster, well, they're making a quick move, whatever they're doing. This Wrath of God. Gideon, ally of Zendikar. It's an interesting one. Sure. Go ahead and... alright. So you got a Night Token. So, bing bing. About this. And if they have Wrath of God, I suspect they would have played it already. Could be wrong, of course. So we'll go ahead. Get in for our... Wrath of God here just wrecks us. Doesn't look like they have it. Well, they might. Okay. No, they don't. Sure. Oh, of course I grabbed the wrong one. Of course, of course, of course, of course. You have another removal spell? Naturally. Go get the mountain. Alright, well, we're not doing anything this combat. Wow. So our opponent would be a 4. Right, here comes the night token. I'll say you have no reason to stay at home, friend. Yep. We may have punted a little bit there. Alright, well, start by attaching that. It's one less mana we gotta use next turn. Would like our opponent to draw a blank at some point. Spell Pierce. That's not going to do a whole lot here. Do get to hit our opponent for 6 here. Unfortunately, Field of Ruins is just going to obliterate us. Okay. Which is annoying. Basically means if our opponent draws any interaction, then we're screwed pretty much. Alright, sure. Alright, and we got there. Against a control deck, no less. Hard to say exactly which version of Esper they were on, but glad to pick up a win. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this evening. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, even if our league hasn't gone exactly the best this evening. I mean, a lot of the games were close, but our opponents have drawn a lot of the cards they need to beat Affinity. I mean, the Infect matchup, that's hit or miss. Jund's just a bad matchup for Affinity, period, and that Eldrazi-Tron matchup, Game 1 and Game 3 was just like a complete waxing. Here, Chalice on 0 when you have a bunch of 0-mana cost spells in your hand. And then Game 1 when All Is Dust blew us out. Kind of funny the artifact deck gets blown out by All Is Dust because the only thing in play of relevance is a colored spell. Maybe some Affinity players can point out some lines I could have taken to have done better in some of those matchups later on. Alright. Does our opponent not want to play Magic? Maybe they... Oh, just barely getting under the clock. Guess I'd like to play first. Is this a mulligan? I think we keep it, but it is not the best of Affinity hands. Bolt Scourge on 1, Ravager on 2. I think we lead on Blink Moth here. Not that particularly matters. I think just getting our lands out there. Creature lands, I should say. Alright, well. Affinity can beat Scred, but it's dicey. Seems like our opponent might be sitting on either a Scred or a Bolt. Alright, I'm presuming this Ravager's dying now. Naturally. Yep. It's kind of the way this league has gone. Darksteel Citadel. Guess it's possible I should be trying for the Infect kill here, but Play out Ink Moth, or Blink Moth here. Play out a Volt Scourge. If our opponent has another Bolt or something. Nope. Suspect there's a Blood Moon incoming. Yep. Turning off all of our lands. In this particular case, Blood Moon's actually pretty effective at what we're doing. Alright, that was a fun game. Alright. So Etch Champion's reasonable against most of their draws. Like, there is the... I think there's some consideration for Bitter Blossom in this matchup, too. Ether Grids aren't particularly relevant, because their hate mostly is blow-up artifacts. Ancient Grudge... I mean, we gotta be careful how many colored spells we bring in here. Galv Blast is... questionable. Steel Overseers are questionable. The Masters could get out of range. Potentially, but I think the Etch Champions have a better chance of being high impact. And I think these Gal Blasts can go ahead and get out of here. I mean, I'm glad we didn't get 0-5 scoreboarded, but this is... what does this hand do? So we have no pressure. Let's see here. I think we keep this hand, but one thing we're really lacking is pressure. Alright. So... Blink Moth, Mox Opal, Springleaf Drum. It's possible I should have let on Spire of Industry here, but... Okay, do not care about Relic of Progenitus. That is one of the cards that can just... it can do whatever. Alright, so... Mox Opal is now turned on. So... do I cast Thoughtseize now? Get in for one. I mean, this is just... I think the lack of pressure might get us here. So am I leaving up Spell Pierce, or am I Thoughtseizing this turn? I think I'm just Thoughtseizing this turn. Get some idea of what we're working around over there. Pian, Kieran, Lightning Bolt, and Eternal Scourge. So... Pian and Kieran we can't beat. Lightning Bolt's annoying, and Eternal Scourge... that explains why you left Relic of Progenitus in your deck. Sure. Always annoying. I have to click on the card even though it's the only card I have. Moment. Mindstone. Okay. Bolt Scourge. And Blink Moth beat down. Play that, play that. Hold up Spell Pierce. Not that Spell Purse is going to do a lot this turn, but could catch their Bolt or something on dumb luck. Play out. And pass the turn. Alright, put in Exiles. Please play Eternal Scourge and leave up just like your one thing for Bolt. Okay. Alright, Darksteel Citadel is a thing, I guess. Ding ding. Activate. Activate. I mean, Spell Pierce isn't going to stop really anything meaningful beyond this point, so. Not going to stop Blood Moon, it's not going to stop Planeswalkers for much longer. Alright, opponent's cracking the Mind Stone. Another Mind Stone. Really need something like Cranial Plating to... Okay. Guess they didn't want us to hit them with another Spell Pierce or something. Alright, I mean, Memnot's not really a card, but what can you do? Slow beatdowns. Alright, let's get in with some Blink Moths and pass. Don't think we're winning this race, Kurt. Well, I guess if nothing were to change, we would conceivably be running this race, but they've got too many good draws off the top. Why would you do that at the beginning of combat? Well, then. I mean, if you've got the removal spell, you've got the removal spell. There's not much I can do about it. Okay, you don't. So you're saying there's a chance. Opponent might be flooding out a little bit here. Pianor. Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Alright. Question is, what do you do with her? Alright. We go to 8. That tells me you don't have... So, see, the problem with this is I have to make the first move, so... Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Give our opponent one chance to make a move. They choose not to, so we have to dome ourselves to do this. You got the removal spell. Guess we'll find out. Okay, you didn't. Cool. Alright. So... what is... anything change on the draw? Do-do-do. Dispatch, no. Galvanic Blast, no. Cages, no. I guess there is some consideration for Galv Blasts, but I think we just keep it as is. Try to keep the maximum amount of flexibility against Blood Moon. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, we keep this hand. If they have a removal spell on one, it does get a lot worse, obviously. Alright, I mean... Steel Overseer is probably dying right away, but, you know, whatevs. Alright, not sure what our opponent's waiting for. If you have the kill spell, use it on the Steel Overseer and move along. I mean, our opponent kept their 7 pretty quickly, so I'm inclined to believe they kept some type of reasonable hand. Do. So, how's everyone doing this evening? How's everyone doing checking this out on YouTube later? We stuck around this long, thanks a lot. So, wonder what that pause was about. Ratchet bomb. Alright. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, use this to cast that. Cast that. Our opponent's not... So does... actually, I had a small error here. I should have been able to get a counter on this Ink Moth, which might end up being relevant. I guess we'll see. Okay, so it looks like our opponent's going after 2 on this one. Opponent is playing... Now obviously, if they have Blood Moon here, this gets a little bit dicey. Okay, so opponent has Blood Moon. We have no way to... Actually, what we do need to do, however, is do this. Activate that. Chomp down on this. All right, let Blood Moon resolve. Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is reasonable here. So... It's actually possible that I should have Spell Pierced the Blood Moon? Maybe. Or no, I just drew the Spell Pierce. Duh. So, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and move the Ravager counters over to... Yes. Move these two there. To play around play around things as best as I can. The thought process was I didn't want to get blown out by a bolt upon them activating this Ratchet Bomb. So they have to have an artifact removal spell, or chump blockers for this, or multiple screds. So, guess we'll see what our opponent does here. 4 mana, Wrath of the Hammer. Stop. Hammer time. Sure. Cranial plating. Does that do it? I think these still count as artifacts. So, equip. Yep, that's game. Oh. Whew. So, okay. Looks like we were just drawing garbage after that. So, Affinity. We've been having a lot of these 2 and 3 records lately. Not just with Affinity, but with a lot of other decks in these leagues. So, what can I say? Affinity is a solid deck. It gives you a lot of lines of play. I think this particular build of Affinity is pretty balanced overall. Just kind of the style of decks I like to play is a well-balanced version of a deck. It doesn't slant toward any one particular matchup or another. Maybe there were some lines of play or miss sideboarding in those first 3 matchups. You see, we were able to navigate through a couple of control decks and still win. With, granted, some lucky top decks. There were a few play lines that were relevant. Our opponent stumbled game 1 with the Esper deck. Jund is even better positioned against this deck than some of those other control decks, especially with Ancient Grudges in the sideboard. The Eldrazi-Tron matchup, I think, if our opponent doesn't have Chalice on 0 in game 3, we probably had a fighting chance that game. So, I mean, we had a lot of, really close points to going 3-2. It's possible against the Infect deck I should have played defense in game 3, but I don't think sitting back forever against Infect is going to win you a lot of games. So, and it's not a matchup that you see a lot of. Granted, Infect seems to be increasing in the format again, so that is something to consider. Overall, the deck felt pretty good, except, I mean, obviously our opponents drew the right cards at the right time. in certain matchups. We had a few guffaws, but most of them were irrelevant. Maybe there were some play lines I missed, but I think overall we did a pretty decent job as far as what was given to us. But beyond that, I mean, we're starting to look at decks for SCG Columbus in January. So I wanted to give Affinity a run. It's been a little bit since I've played, obviously, been a long time since I played the deck for a while. And the format that I played and did consistently well with Affinity was a non-interactive format. And I'm not sure that the current format qualifies, but we'll definitely give another look at Affinity before we completely rule it out. But that was a rough league. Of course, seeing Jund, seeing Infect, two decks that have been historically recently on the decline, but historically very good. So kind of hard to judge based on that. So thanks for tuning in for Affinity here. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording on the Affinity.